Starting to the top right, the Terran player edged out a victory on a kill-on and therefore goes into the third game now against his opponent. Starting for Team Axiom, we have
Axiom Ryung from America.
And Ryung is up against an LGIM opponent. Formerly known as Luzira, to the bottom of the map. It is his map choice. We have
LGIM Kangho from Korea.
Well, let's see what they've got planned. Just going to be a gas cancel here. Don't get too excited, Legend.
I think right now it would really be smart for Ryung to once again get his siege tank out.
Yeah, if I were Ryung right now, I'd be making siege tanks off one base.
Yeah. I really feel that even in the first game he could have done so much more with a bit of a better unit positioning. He just had everything clumped up, and Zerg players these days, they are so much smarter dealing with especially Widow Mines. For example, when you have like all the Widow Mines on one spot, the Zerg just rolls in a few of the Banelings, detonates them manually, and then all the Widow Mines are gone. If you space them out, you can really multiply the effect that they have, and then it's so much more difficult for the Zerg to execute this. Game number 2, much smarter positioning by Ryung, did that very, very well, and he was rewarded for it. We have Kangho actually like blocking the command center first here, for as long as he can, but now that the 400 minerals are accumulated, the hit points on the drone are actually... That was so sad. I mean, the drone tried.
He tried. To no avail.
I feel sorry for it.
Do you think Kangho is going to go again for a Roach Baneling attack? Or do you think he's going to try to do something, you know, completely different, like Nidus or Mutas, or even do the unthinkable and take a third base? Because right now that drone is looking like he wants to do the unthinkable. He's going to go double hatch before pool on Neoplanet S.
Yeah, but it's fine. It's completely cool.
Actually,
with the command center first, that's absolutely legit.
It's better to do this build, I feel, than to do a delayed third with a hatch first into pool into third base. It's actually, I think this build is better on this map.
That is a very, very legit strategy that he's currently executing. But as to the other question, what he's going to do like a bit later if he goes into the Roaches again, you know, I feel it would be much smarter for him to go into Ling Muta Baneling, but Kangho is a very stubborn player. Like, if he has an idea, he's gonna follow through with it. And if he... I don't think that he's gonna adjust here, so we might see him go down the same path, and I feel that that would be the wrong decision, since it's the obvious choice. That's what Ryung expects and what he's scouting for. I would like to see Kangho either be a little bit sneaky or just rely on a standard Muta Ling Baneling composition and try to make it work that way.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure. I mean, the thing is, Ryung died to the aggression once. The second time, he was able to deal with it much better with the siege tanks. If I'm Kangho right now, you know, I wish I had more time to think, because, you know, Kangho right now is going to decide, well, I did the same build twice. He's chosen Neoplanet S for a reason, and he's probably planned this out the entire time, that whether he faces MVP or Ryung, he can go into Neoplanet S if he loses. I really wish I could know exactly what's going through his head right now, but he's got the gas now to go into speed.
Yeah, definitely has the gas already. We have the extra queens for him also coming out, and one of the things that he should try to do is connect the base with creep, but it's not really easy on such a big map. You have speed now being started, and that's what you want to get if you are going into double hatch before pool, so that you have at least one advantage over your opponent. And once more we see the Halberd drops coming out for Ryung with the armory that is now being built. So for Kangho, it's going to be important to either get more queens out on the map, more than 3, definitely like 4 to 6, or at least get the Roach one here. That would help him even more against Hellions and also against them further down the road, all those Hellbats that he will have to deal with.
Last game, we saw the Hellbats do a little bit of damage, but not a ton. It was a problem that Ryung didn't have too many units back at home because the Hellbats were out, but he had a good position on the top of the ramp. He had the bunkers there. Ryung also didn't get his SCVs target. Kangho didn't target his SCVs very well. And so far, it was a very different game because Kangho simply has not added the Roach Warren this time at all. He's skipping it entirely, whereas we saw in Game 1 and Game 2 went for it around this time.
But he sees now the starport, and he should figure out at this point that there's a very good chance that there is going to be a drop. We have the additional queens out, but still trying to connect the bases with the creep. The tumors are now on the map. The speed is kicking in, but what we don't see is, as already mentioned, the Roach Warren. So Roaches are usually... It's something that these days you kind of always want to get. Some players really don't want to invest the minerals for it, but it makes you so much safer.
Drones coming out here to try to block the Hellions from getting into the main base. It's only 2, but it's still very annoying, and he gets a scout here. This means he knows Evolution Chambers, he knows no lair, and he also knows no Roach Warren or Baneling Nest, so he's going to feel completely safe at home. Knows he can skip those siege tanks now.
A really good micro, by the way, with those harvesters. He lost, I think, 2.
Yeah, I'll double check.
I'll
double check that for you. It's 3 harvesters in total. I think that's including the drones.
Exactly.
Too.
That includes the drone to the top right, so he really lost 2 harvesters there. Was a good defense. 2 Hellions was not too much, not a huge commitment here by Ryung, just of course getting the scouting information, so now he knows exactly what he has to expect. But now we have Kangho committing to Spines and Spores instead of going into Roaches. I actually like that. I just don't think that's going to be ready in time, especially since the drop is heading towards the 3rd phase.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, there's a double queen already.
Double queen targeting that dropship, very, very important. But he still has to do something about the Hellions that are killing his drones.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hellbats are now, the first one is being taken out. The second one taking a good position between the mineral patches. Queens forcing that back, and Kangho is still being safe here. Getting now those spine crawlers and adding the Roach Warren at the 9-minute mark.
6 additional harvesters killed with that, and a lot of Zerglings down as well.
He decided this is too risky for him. He wants to have the Roach Warren out there, but is heading into the melee upgrade and also armor. So we have those double upgrades, and looks more like a traditional style from him.
Yeah, probably not going to see any more than maybe 4 or 5 Roaches to defend the Hellbats. And look at that. Spore Crawler Double Queen, making it very easy to defend. He's losing a lot of Overlords to that Viking. He needs to make sure he keeps the production going, because he's been supply blocked actually probably for at least a minute in this game.
Well, the lair tech now also coming in. The speed upgrade for the Overlords to make them a little bit more mobile on the map, and Ryung is going into a massive amount of barracks right now, adding 4 additional ones. But also going for that 3rd base. So what Kangho really wants to do right now is to get his tech out as soon as the lair is done and just start a little bit with this composition here. His droning up is really decent. He's spreading the creep, and that is at this point the only thing that he really can do.
By the way, 6 additional barracks coming out for Ryung right now. He's going to try to be very, very aggressive, just like we've seen SC in the past do, where he just walks across the map with ground armies at the 3rd base, just rallies and attacks, because his 3rd base is just as exposed as Kangho's is, but if he's constantly attacking, it keeps Kangho off his back while he continues the pressure. So I like this. 4 reactors being made, 2 more barracks, 1 on the way, but obviously Kangho much more ahead with the upgrades when it comes to attack.
Yeah, and Kangho is now once again adding the Baneling Nest, and he has the potential to just go in for another Roach aggression. I don't think he researched Roach speed. A little bit surprised that he doesn't spread his creep a little bit more aggressively towards the right side of the map. There are like several points where he has so many active tumors that he could use. He's much more focused to the top left. Here comes the speed upgrade for the Roaches, and actually it looks like he's going to go for exactly the same bust that we've seen in the last few games.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know if it's going to work against... The thing is, there's no tanks again, but he's got such a large bioforce and so much production that there's, with just a few more waves of Marines, if he sees it coming and he has the bunkers, I think he can hold. Does Kangho attack the natural or the 3rd base? That's the question.
We also have a lot of reactors, but not a lot of tech labs, so his Marauder production is limited. He gets 2 at a time, but that's all that he can do. Here comes the scan.
Good
and
scan there.
He sees a lot of them, trying to spread out most of those Widow Mines now. Ryung is trying to prepare for this push. He knows that it's coming. He's trying to buy time for his upgrades to finish.
Could go into some siege tanks with that 2nd factory that is finished. It's going to take a while, obviously, but he starts a tech lab on it.
It's also, he's going to wait for, I think he's going to wait much longer. He wants to hit with +2/+2, and he wants most of all to have, like, Baneling speed.
Yeah. It looks more likely that during this time, he's just trying to pressure Ryung's 3rd base and see if he can get lucky or find a window there. But until that time, when 2/2 and Baneling speed is finished, like you said, he's going to just wait and keep powering up units.
To be quite frank with you, that should not work.
I don't think so, man. I think if Ryung can also make a siege tank here, he's got that tech lab available.
At this point, we have a lot of Marines coming down. He has the 1/1 coming in, 3 Widow Mines at a time. He knows what's going on, like he's seen it. There are so many Roaches. This is such an investment to gas, and the upgrades too. It's not like suddenly Kangho is going to appear with like 30 Mutalisks or anything. So if you scan properly and make sure that you catch that, you see a massive amount of Roaches, and you see the potential for Roach Baneling again, and then you should be able to prepare.
Yeah, still a bit surprised doesn't just make the 1 siege tank out of the factory. He's got a tech lab on while he's researching the upgrade for the drilling claws for the Widow Mines.
I feel at this point he's going to be fine with all those Widow Mines because he has so many. He has 12 of them and getting additional ones. And he's also in a position where he has bunkers set up, a good wall, double wall even at the third base. It's just like Kangho, once again, this has an expiration date, this strategy.
Yeah, it really does, and especially if you're using it every game in a series, it starts to become a little bit predictable, especially when Ryung has already scouted, seen it, scanned it, no cancel on the hatch.
There comes the army to the right side.
He needs to go home.
It has already been spotted. He knows what's going on here. I think he's moving back now, sending one drop to the bottom left. The bunker is not manned, not at all.
The depot is not raised either.
He needs to raise that depot. And now those Widow Mines are gone.
Oh my god.
I cannot believe that Ryung is letting this happen.
I don't believe it either. I mean, he's so focused on the drop because he doesn't have anything else he can really work with right now.
Ryung has seen this. Why doesn't he like prepare for this? Suddenly he's voicing this army in the middle of the map. Yes, there are still a few Widow Mines left, but also Roaches in his main base.
His production is camped now, exactly, with the Roaches in the main base. The drop will be shut down, and Ryung is dropping supply. This is a game he had won. I mean, he really did.
Well, not really won, but he should have realized what's happening there. He did such a great job earlier with scouting, with scanning, with seeing all of this, but it feels like he didn't realize how severe that pressure was and how committed Kangho was to this attack.
It's like he thought maybe Kangho would turn around when he attacked him like that, but it just did not happen.
He's losing everything here. I mean, this game is over. The Roaches are in the main base. He's camping his supply. He's taking down the reactors. He has reinforcements streaming in. There is nothing left. 3 Widow Mines are not going to kill 27 Roaches.
GG. And it's Ryung who dies here. Ryung is the one who falls out of this tournament, and Kangho is the one to go on to face his teammate MVP in the final match.
I'm really surprised that just happened.
I'm shocked. He walked all the way across the map. Well, not even all the way, halfway, and then turned around.
That was actually not even the thing that scared, that freaked me out the most. The thing is, like, everything at home was not set up.
Yeah, he didn't have anything set up. He didn't raise his depot even.
There was nothing in the bunker. The depots weren't raised. The Widow Mines weren't in position. He then borrowed all of them at the same spot. It's like he didn't see that army, but I would have loved to see, like, to watch that game again and focus a bit on his vision, because he saw that. He saw those Roaches, and there were so many of them. What kind of composition is the Zerg player going for if he has like 40 Roaches on the map? It's not, as I said, it's not like he's suddenly transitioning and trying to hit a Mutalist timing, and if it was, he would see it with the scans. Yeah. And he scanned everywhere.
I don't know. He didn't make any siege tanks either after he saw all those Roaches. We're going to have a 10-minute break, though, once again, before we go into the final match, which will be Lucira, a.k.a. Kangho, up against his teammate MVP. So we'll see you in a few.